All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are live. 2 Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. We are hitting you on Facebook, Riverside, and of course, YouTube. We are YouTube Live now. 2 Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. My man, the Uptown Point Guard, Brock Ganeles, joins us from right outside New York City. I'm live in the ATL, shouty, and we are just getting into it because, first of all, congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays on a wonderful season. They, played an absolutely wonderful game last night. Too bad they came up short to that team from Los Angeles, whoever the fuck they are. Really, no one gives a shit. I was pulling for the elbows up, guys, Brock.
I think it was a team from Tokyo that beat Toronto, right?
Pretty much.
The MVP pitcher won 3 games, and Otani hit like 6 home runs, and Will Smith chipped in with a game-winning homer. But okay, yeah, I wanted Toronto to win. I mean, the country of Canada was let down, but as usual, they actually still supported their team in the loss and showed class
and national pride, which we don't have here in this country. Whatever, the Dodgers did whatever. Maybe people got locked up, with the celebrations, whatever. Moving on. Barack Obama out with full-throated criticism of his predecessor and lunatic Kanks McTaco Tits. I just love that, and I just love saying it. I mean, it's really growing on me. But Kankles is really taking some shots from Barack Obama. Finally, Brock, you and I have expressed frustration about this more than several occasions. And now he's out on the trail, banging the drum, urging people to get out and vote. And see, the way to beat this down, what Trump is forecasting, is to make the outcome so overwhelming it can't come into question. But like your friend was saying from Spain, we don't vote. Everyone is talking about how awful the turnout is going to be because it's an off year. What the fuck is an off year? What is that? Are we or are we not electing people to govern for us in New Jersey, Virginia, and a huge ballot initiative in California? I mean, come on, people. Other countries, they have 80, 90, 95% voter participation. We're lucky to get 50. We're lucky when we get 50, we're like, whoa, what was the issue here? We start running polls to see what brought people out. It's insane.
Well, Mark, I'm with you. So happy to see Obama out there. We know that the old rule book would say past presidents shouldn't be criticizing the current one. Military people should stay out of the fray, so the generals don't want to say anything against the commander in chief. But these are, strange times require different playbooks. We were frustrated a little bit with Kamala for sort of disappearing for a while. She's come back in full force. It's all hands on deck.
No doubt.
But Obama can set an example for anyone else who maybe feels reticent about stating their opinion because he just carries so much weight. And of course, he's the greatest orator of our lifetimes. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when he's out there, he's giving a great speech and he's making fun of Trump and he's making points in a way that's smart, right? It's smart and funny and it just pokes holes in the buffoonery of which we're living in. But back to your point on the voting, obviously we have to win the ballot. The California ballot thing is a must win, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
In New Jersey, we just know how important the governors are, right? Because the governor sort of has a say over, the governor like Pritzker's doing in Chicago and Newsom's doing, they can fight the federal government. So it's really key to have Democrat governors in place. And as importantly, the left has to win. You have to beat MAGA in every place that there's a fair election. Beat them so that they start questioning why they're still supporting an agenda that's so bad for the American people.
Right.
And so they have to lose to maybe second guess themselves for there to be some change and some peeling away, from Trump. Because,
Well, again, Brock, it baffles the mind as to how these people feel like, hungry MAGA voters are better off with Donald Trump, better off with more MAGA candidates, better off with more of these nut job Republicans in office, that all they continue to do is, power grab for minority rule and take away rights that enable you to even have any voice in this country. We used to think this country was the shining star. It took less than 10 years for this clown to dismantle it. And he's not even smart, you know? But if we had paid attention to what the Heritage Foundation was saying and not believed Donald Trump when Donald Trump said, oh, I don't know anything about that. Think about it, 45 to 50% of what they put in Project 2025 has already been enacted.
Mark, let me just jump in a second, please. Excuse me, but because I'm just getting pissed as I was thinking about it. Like, how can you be sitting in fucking New Jersey and fucking Virginia and saying that the election of your governor is not important? As if it doesn't matter whether your governor acts and puts in policies in place like fucking DeSantis or Abbott in Texas or Newsom and Pritzker. Like, it's that stark a contrast. There's no middle of the fucking road here.
No.
Either you have a MAGA governor implementing a MAGA fucking agenda in your state, or you have someone who's in the opposition who's actually fighting against the federal government that's taking the country in the wrong direction. There's no oh, this is a fucking off-year election. For you, it's a huge election.
Right.
Who the fuck's sitting home for that? Who's possibly sitting there saying, oh, it doesn't matter which side governs our state? There's going to be gerrymandering. There's going to be use of there's going to be battles with ICE. There's going to be whether or not your state dips into state funds to pay benefits to feed people like they're doing in Massachusetts, or whether your governor just says, hey, fuck it. They're on their own. Do you want a fuck 'em governor who doesn't give a shit about the people? Who's rolling along with Project 2025, or you want an opposition? You want to be part of the opposition? It's fucking black and white.
Yep. And the problem, Brock, think about it in Virginia. Northern Virginia is all government officials, government workers, people that are shut down right now, people that are going to be getting on those food lines, right? People that are going to be going to get, food assistance, people with good paying jobs. But we also know that as expensive as everything else in America, when we start adding up all our bills, right? If you don't have a 2-income household right now, you are fucking screwed with the cost of everything. But a lot of people have single income households. And think about how you got 2 cars. That's 2 car notes and 2 car insurances. Right? Plus all your household utilities. Plus the kids got this activity and that activity. I mean, think about what the average family in Northern Virginia, which is not one of the cheapest places to live, is actually going through right now. So how could they sit back and say, it doesn't fucking matter? You're absolutely right, dude. You are absolutely right. Because now is the time to make our voices heard. I saw a couple of clips on YouTube today, so-called pundits talking about New Jersey's the bellwether and this and that. And I'm like, look, if anybody thinks that what's happening right now is good for America, they need their fucking head examined. Especially these people, playing mental gymnastics. I heard one lady from New Jersey sitting there talking about, I think the Republican candidate has a plan. Mikey Sherrill, right? A highly decorated congressperson and former veteran, right? A high achiever has no plan and all she does is mumble. Really? That's what you're going with. Ma'am, can I ask you to just cut to your racism? Please just get to your racism and let's take it from there.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah. I mean, she could have thrown the price of eggs in there, right?
Exactly.
Just throw some horse shit in there. You're going to vote a certain way. It doesn't matter who the candidates are. Right?
I don't hear anybody talking about eggs anymore. The whole egg thing went away. Now that eggs are $9 a fucking dozen. Is that what happened? Everyone's happy now with the egg prices?
They're 12 up here. They're a buck an egg.
Yeah, they're insane. Think about the price of coffee, the price of beef. The price of everything has gone up, right? Because of this buffoon. And think, had he not gone to, Asia and gotten played, it would have been much worse, Brock. Had those tariffs kicked in and everybody else said, hey, you want to go America first? Screw you. We'll go America last. And it would have been much worse. You know how much shit we get from China?
That woman who's fucking thinks that Mikey Sherrill was mumbling, right? Is probably a Trump voter with a MAGA hat on.
Yes.
And she's got a problem with Mikey Sherrill's mumbling, but she's fine with Donald Trump's fucking rambling idiocy and being like walked around Japan as he
And
wanders the
meandering.
room and spins around and doesn't even know where he is and declares war on like Nigeria last night after declaring war on Venezuela the day before, right? After already saying the Gaza is going to become, a golf course, after saying that we're going to start testing nuclear weapons again and somehow
Right, the
riling up
nuclear weapons.
Russia on the nuclear front, which is at least of one thing that had been put to bed for at least a couple of years now. He dredges that out of left fucking field. Right, who
Right.
slapped an
Right.
extra tariff on Canada because he didn't like a commercial that they put on. Oh, that guy that's in the fucking Epstein files, right? Like,
Right.
oh, that guy she's fine with, but Mikey Sherrill doesn't have a plan, and he
Right.
doesn't like the way he
And
talks.
she's mumbling.
Come on,
She's
the
mumbling.
whole thing's I mean, that's the farce of fucking America. It's the racism. Like, just tell it
Just let's
like it
get to
is. You're happy to have the ICE agents out there because you know they're not going to fucking bother you, but they're going to go after the people you don't like to begin with. So now you got a little army running around taking care of the people you don't like. And you're convinced that the only people getting SNAP benefits are people of color. And you're blind to the fact that it's, 45% or so white people, but
Yep.
you
But
don't
we're not
care.
going to
You'll
talk about
ignore it. You'll deny it. You'll just blow right past that.
it. Yep. And we'll deny it. And speaking of the other race card that's being played from the bottom of the deck, how about Mr. Cuomo playing the race card from the bottom of the deck with double digit deficit to the common sense candidate, right? A guy who says, hey, New York is way too expensive for the average American, right? How does that not make sense? Brock, I was in New York for Christmas couple of winters ago. I went to one of the food trucks, my favorites, hot dogs, sauerkraut, the whole deal. There was four of us, I think, my son, my grandson. Yeah, I think it was four or five of us. I had to swipe a credit card. I didn't have enough cash because the bill came to like 60 or $70, for the four of us. So to get a hot dog, a steak and cheese, some wings, some chips, fried, 60 bucks, $70. And I was thinking to myself, how do people do it? Right? Park a car in New York City sometimes, right? And see if you don't have to pull out your Discover card and get cash back on it.
There's no
I
fucking.
mean, it's insane. It is insane. Why do people think that New Yorkers didn't want Amazon there? All they were going to do is drive up the cost of living with their high dollar salaries. Nobody wants that shit in New York. We can't afford that.
Yeah, in Queens. And Queens is like one of the places that still
Yes.
has a little bit of affordability compared to
Right.
Brooklyn and Manhattan.
They would have
Well,
ruined Long Island.
interesting in New York, right? Schumer has refused to endorse Mondani, right? Because Schumer just,
Right.
cares more about Israel than anything else, apparently. Well, he said that. I mean, I think, Mondani's going to win. And
Yeah.
my prediction is that I think Cuomo's going to move to Florida and try to run for something in Florida. That's my prediction. He obviously clearly can't do anything else in life. Like he's a lifetime politician, so
Right.
he's but he can't win in New York anymore.
And
I
and
hope he gets blown out. I hope he loses by at least by double digits plus.
I hope he loses by 20 points. He and his brother are both losers. They took advantage of, the positions that they were given, and and people trusted them both. Cuomo on the broadcast airways. Meanwhile, he's out here trying to help his brother. He's playing both sides
To
against the
help his
middle.
brother duck like 10 sexual harassment,
Incredible
allegations.
sexual harassment
This
charges.
guy
Right.
is, Anyway, I hope he get, I hope he gets
With a lack of
called.
care.
48 hours, we're gonna know the answer on that one. And there's another election that matters, right? You can't say the candidates are all the same. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, it matters.
Right. The biggest city in the country. It absolutely
Yeah,
matters.
do you want someone that's already cozied to Trump just to get the job, or someone who's actually going to be fighting the MAGA regime? Because it's coming.
Right.
ICE is coming to New York at some point. It's barely dabbled in New York City, but one of
Because of
these
Eric
days
Adams.
Trump's going to send his fucking Gestapo to New York City.
Right. Soon as Eric Adams is out, I predict they'll be there. And this is the biggest city in the world, and one of the biggest cities in the world, one of the most important cities in the world, especially when you consider the financial district and all that goes on, all the commerce that comes through New York City. It is one of the most important cities on the globe. So I don't know how, people can want to hand it over to somebody who's actually parroting Donald Trump's words. I mean, Cuomo is using, Trump stuff right
Yeah.
out of his
Well,
handbook.
he said diversity is not a good thing, right? I mean, now
Yeah.
he's really, he's moving, he's trying to win the MAGA voter.
Yep.
That's the only route he sees. So he's basically trying to get the Republican voters. So he's playing to that. He'll just, it's kind of sickening
Sickening.
to watch, and I just want him. I want him.
Well,
I want a beatdown. I want a beatdown on Tuesday.
he's already got the MAGA trait in terms of sexual harassment and that kind of thing. So we'll give him a point for that, right? And then just he's anti DEI, so we'll give him another point for this. So he's basically MAGA,
Well,
middle
we got
MAGA.
to roll guys like him out because guys like getting
Exactly.
Obama back into the mix, Kamala Harris back in the mix. Oh, by the way, both happen to be people of color. Helps to, in my mind, unify the Democratic side of the ledger. We're more likely to have a unified resistance against MAGA when you have that leadership out there that's already really, at least on the left, highly embraced
Yep.
by the left.
Yep. Because Mondani, while not endorsed by Obama, has definitely been able to use the former president as a sounding board.
Yeah.
So while it's
Right,
not
he got very. Obama gave him very positive comments the other day about a great campaign
exactly,
he's run and all that.
exactly. So, while it's not a tacit endorsement, it is, proof that there is a movement afoot in the Democratic Party.
You know what Obama coming back also helps with, which Biden can't do because he's too old and he can't get out there anymore. Right now he's sick, he has cancer, but he was already, we could see from the debates, right, that he was losing it. Obama gets back out there and it reminds people that that's what a president should sound like. That we
Right.
don't have to accept this fucking dementia-ridden lunacy of Donald Trump, someone who doesn't know fucking anything. He's an idiot, but also a narcissist and also a psychopath and also in mental decline. And you have Obama out there and it's just like, yeah, this is what leadership sounds like.
Exactly, Brock. And the fact that, here is a man who understands the world stage. Here is a man who understands the economy. Here is a man who understands the inner workings of the American government and the American governmental system, right? Why things are the way they are. Why this law and that law work together to protect America. Donald Trump can't tell you any of that shit. We are living in the lack of the corrosion of expertise and experience is mind numbing when you think about how important this country is on the global stage. And the fact that we have, 60% of Americans, 65% of Americans that have just gone along with it and said, you know what, yeah, it's cool. Linda McMahon seems like a cool choice for fucking Department of Education head. Does she even have a formal fucking education? We've never been told about her fucking resume. All we know is she's into body slams and backflips off the top rope. We don't know shit about the McMahon experience. What, bro, she couldn't even answer basic questions
There's
at her
not a single
confirmation.
person in the admin who gets in front of a camera or a microphone and sounds credible across the
No,
board. Christy Nome, Patel, Rubio, Besant.
not one of them.
I forget some of the names.
Holman,
You got
Tom Holman.
Conan. You had that woman from agriculture the other day saying that, like, the SNAP, there's corruption in SNAP, right? Bondi. I mean, there's not a single one of them. And then you throw Johnson in the mix, right? Who keeps getting interviewed, who just lies and pretends like, oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, I hadn't read that. Oh, I wasn't aware of that, right? Every fucking day. You're like, wait a second. How are we all aware of it? You don't get
Right,
a newspaper? Like, you're not,
right.
how do you not now know shit that we, couple yahoos from Peekskill, how come we know this shit? We Googled a little bit. We went to a couple websites. We read some shit. We know what's going
Right.
on. Mike Johnson gets up every day and has no fucking idea what's going on.
No clue. It's insane. And and he pretends he's the wolf. He's the proverbial wolf in sheep's clothing. This guy gets up there and stands up there like he has some kind of fucking brain and is lying straight out of his mouth about everything. Talking about the Democrats have voted 14 times to keep the government closed. The Republicans have voted 14 times to open it. What? What?
Today
Do
talked about a
you not?
secret healthcare plan that they don't want, quote,
Yeah,
leaked out. They don't want it leaked out, meaning like it's like you think it was like the nuclear codes. You're not you can't leak out what your healthcare plan is going to be
yeah,
after like a
because it's a
decade or two.
thousand
But we're
pages
just
of
going to
nothing.
peel away what we currently have, but like we don't want to tell you what could possibly replace it because
Replace it,
we
right?
know the answer is there is nothing behind it, right? The emperor has no fucking clothes.
At all, at all. And and again, it comes right back to that woman in New Jersey who said Mikey Sherrill was mumbling. The Naval Academy graduate is mumbling, right? The woman who flies those seaplanes and all the military's top equipment is mumbling. But somehow this woman has been convinced that boosting the healthcare premiums of 18 million Americans is somehow a good idea. But this woman's mumbling.
Mark,
It's
will
unbelievable.
black people go out on the streets if Obama says that they need to, um, you know,
I think he could.
show more aggressive civil action?
I
If he does a call to, in essence, a call to arms and says, hey, you need to be out there marching with white America. Like you need to be showing your faces right now, showing strength in numbers. You think that would move the needle? Or at least I guarantee, I think it would, well, I shouldn't say guarantee because I don't know. I'm asking a question, so I should shut up.
No, in my estimation, Barack is probably the one. Well, there are two people and they're in the same family who could probably get that done. He and Michelle. And right now on the leadership stage on the blue ticket, I mean, they are the only ones that could move the needle with Black America. In my estimation, as a whole, you're not going to find anybody else who has the kind of cachet that they've developed. And I don't I do understand why good people don't get into politics anymore because who wants to deal with the 24-hour news cycle and people going in and out of every orifice on your body to find dirt on you. I mean, I get it, but at
Mark,
the
and,
same
and, and the constant threats.
right, right. Just because we can't have any kind of civil discourse. That's the worst part about it, right? Is that, being a politician these days can because think back to Gabby Giffords. I mean, we thought that was a one-off that we'd never see again in our lifetime.
I mean, Minneapolis, those two state senators got
Right. Two
gunned down.
state senators gone, right? And one side didn't think anything about it at all, right? I mean, Republicans were like, well, they probably had it coming. What? What in the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, we've lost all, compassion for humanity and our neighbor and our fellow human being. We don't even look at people as human beings anymore.
So you think that so Obama, Barack or Michelle could when that next march comes, you think they could inspire sort of a turnout from Black
I
Americans?
think they could. I think they
Will
could.
do you think? I think the next major civil action is this blackout, right? The economic boycott, basically, from November 20. I think it's November 25th to December 2nd.
Yeah, it's going to be a week of
So
removing
is
dollars.
that a Black American led movement? Do you even know who? I mean, in a way, it doesn't matter. I'm hoping it's unified and everybody does it. But
Right.
who's triggered that? Is this coming from the group that did the Target boycotts, or is it just organic? And I don't even know who started the idea.
Yeah, that's a good question because I saw it on social media, and I was so surprised at the content of the video and what the young lady was saying. I didn't even check to see the origin of it, and where it was coming from.
I haven't seen a video. There's a video.
Oh yeah, yeah, I sent it to you.
All right, good. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure it's in there. I'll go look for it.
Oh yeah, it's in there. So, this was a TikTok video and it's called a mass blackout. As a matter of fact, Thursday or Friday morning when I sent it to you, it had 18,000 views, 18,000 comments, 650,000 likes. So I don't know, when it was posted, but it was titled Mass blackout. And what she was saying, this TikTok, Ashley on TikTok, is that, let's go back to what we were doing in the 60s. And when we took our dollars out of the Montgomery bus system and boycotted, that's when things got done, right? When we removed those dollars from the economy. Now, we're only 40 million, 13% of the population, but we probably shop more than anybody else, any other ethnicity, especially because we don't shop with each other, right? How many times does the African American dollar circulate in the community? Zero, right? You go to the Latin American community, Latina community, it circulates 6, 7 times. The Jewish community, but it never leaves, right? So, when you start thinking about us taking our money out of the system just for a week, right? Somebody's going to feel it.
Okay.
Somebody's going to
I got to
feel it.
find out whether white people are going to be along for this ride because
Let's hope
we're
so.
waiting for something that inflicts economic pain. We've been talking about something like this and or a national strike. This is kind of easier to do because it's just the absence of action, right? You don't have to actually take an action. You just have to not do things, right?
Right, right.
Which kind of easier to not do
Hey,
things.
and ask Target what happens when people don't do things, right? I mean, they're regretting their position they took on DE.
Hey, Spotify's getting hurt right now by having
Yeah,
those ice ads on there. Their subs
yep.
are going down, and Disney still probably hasn't recovered all the subs they lost.
$1 million. I haven't renewed mine, and Disney is no longer on YouTube.
Yeah,
Apparently
they're in a
they've
fight now.
got this issue with YouTube. So, Disney is hurting for certain. So, hey, when we start hitting people in the pocketbook, Brock, that's when we'll get the attention of those 83 billionaires, that are writing checks for their own personal military use to help Donald Trump fund the people. Hey, the people who we wanted to get paid got paid. That was a quote from Trump, right? Want the military paid, we want the ICE agents paid, and we want the FBI paid. Everybody else can go to hell pretty much, right? I mean, that's out of his mouth, right? While he's down here throwing a Great Gatsby themed party, right? What happened at the end of the Roaring 20s, right? Not so much the Roaring 30s, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, market crashed. And then we went
So,
into a depression. Okay. All right.
hell
Well, we
yeah.
got a month to play with on this one, right? Headed up to what's the start date again? Was it 25th, right? 25th?
I
I
believe
mean,
so.
shit, we got a lot to do between here and there, right? I mean,
Yeah, we got to win
we
these
got to win
elections
some
first.
we got to win some elections. Yeah. Send some messages and continue to unify and get more high profile leaders out there that can bring us together.
Yep.
Because we still are missing the unity
Yep.
angle.
Well, we're still not having, cross cultural conversations, and that's the biggest part, the biggest frustration. So, it's something that's got to happen. It's got to happen, pretty quickly, especially with the way his dementia is progressing. We're seeing reports of catheter bags, which is a sign of dementia because you lose your bowels and control of your bladder when your dementia starts to progress. So, a lot of these things, could be signaling, maybe it's time for the 25th Amendment.
He's
Who
fucking
knows?
lost. He was going after Seth Meyers for
Yeah,
like
he's all over the fucking place.
saying that it's illegal to criticize him on like comedy shows or late night shows, literally trying to pretend like it's illegal. Like he's just lost. Like he lost the Kimmel battle, now he's moved on to Seth Meyers.
Yeah. All right, quick hit before we get out of here.
Quick hit. So there's been some shopping centers, grocery stores that were advertising and giving discounts to SNAP beneficiaries that had lost their, you know,
Their
their
benefits?
benefits, their money, the refilling of their EBT cards. So we're offering discounts. They got a letter from the USDA threatening them and telling them that they couldn't do that. And the
Wow.
grocery stores had to retract that and go back to full pricing for all the fucking 42 million Americans who are getting screwed. You can't even on the local level got to do something, do them a solid while they're starving.
Right.
US government cracked down on that. I mean,
Makes
that's
sense.
fucking next level bullshit.
And evil. I mean, it's just evil. You know what I mean? But again, we've said it all along. It's about, the infliction of pain.
Yeah, like they just couldn't ignore it. They just couldn't like that. You want people to be hungry.
Well,
quicker.
what does it say? What does it say on the USDA webpage? The well has run dry. What is that?
Yeah, I didn't
What is
realize
that?
that. I haven't been on that web page in a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's out there and it's ridiculous. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Toronto Blue Jays next year. You got it.
Next year.
There
All
won't
right,
be a
Canada. We're with you next. We're with you next year, Canada. And Mark,
no
my
doubt.
apologies for not opening every link that you text to me. I mean, that's an egregious violation on my part. I'll never let it happen again.
Well, I'm gonna let you slide on that one. It was actually 3:04 a.m. I couldn't have expected you.
And if it was Halloween, I had to put up all these damn decorations. I mean, I was on the
There you
job
go.
that day.
There you go. See, and I was jet lagged. My body thought it was, 4 in the afternoon.
Or,
So I'm
sorry I
sending out.
didn't wake up. Sorry I didn't wake up and read that one. All right,
All
Mark.
right,
Always
buddy.
a pleasure. All right, I'll
Yes,
talk to you
sir. See you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Peace.